Hello, hello. Sorry, I had to calibrate my stupid SEO device. I need to get like a Wu-Ting keyboard, man. I'm too broke to get one, but I'll save up for one if my YouTube keeps doing good, you know. If I can keep up the YouTube channel, I'll invest. But SEO device is pretty good. Obviously got nothing to complain about with the SEO. Cause I like being able to configure. I know you can configure a Wu-Ting as well, but I bet it has better software as well. I think my little brother has a Wu-Ting. Actually, now that I think about it. Yeah, my little brother has a Wu-Ting keyboard. He asked for it for Christmas. Maybe I should have asked for it. Should I lower my... I'm configuring it right now. You kind of sound like Dream if his voice... Do I actually? Hold on. I don't know what Dream sounds like. Let me look it up. Would you guys believe if I said I've never watched a single Dream video ever? Let's be the judge of that. Dream. Let's see here. I don't know. I don't hear it. Maybe I'm tripping, but I don't hear it. Also, there's this YouTuber I watch. He does like Terraria stuff. What's his name? Like I'm gonna shout him out because I really like his content. Chief Logan. He makes like Terraria stuff. Really, I watched one of his videos recently, and I hate that his stream titles are beating Calamity Mod naked, because he's doing a challenge where he's not wearing armor or accessories in Terraria, but his stream title is beating Calamity naked. So every single morning, I wake up to, hey, Chief Logan is now streaming, beating Calamity naked. Like, good job, man. Have fun. It's a cool challenge, though. If you really like Terraria, I'd go check out his channel. But yeah, I get flashbanged by he's naked. All right, let's actually play the game now. He sounds like Dream if he had more puberty. What the hell does more puberty mean? What do you mean by more puberty? Also, just let me make sure the camera's actually enabled. It is, but it's not facing the right spot. What mouse is this? This is an extremely expensive mouse. I would not get it unless you are like really into gaming. This mouse was almost $250. It's a Beast X Mini. The reason I got it is because it is super lightweight. Like, it is literally a fifth of the weight of my old mouse, and I only use it for like shooters. It's really good for like hero shooters because I play a lot of them. So I would say this is like only an investment if it's like, A, you pretty much game an excessive amount like me, and B, you really need a lightweight mouse. I think I needed it because I play Geometry Dash and rhythm games, so I'm tippy tapping all the time, and I think a lightweight mouse is going to help me not develop carpal tunnel syndrome as early. I mean, I'm still going to get it with how much I play Geometry Dash. But yeah, let's get started today. I actually had to stop playing with my mouse. Like, I used to play, I played every end with the mouse for like a solid month, but I was developing wrist soreness, and it got really bad to the point where now I just use my Seo device just because my wrist got like really bad, and it's still a bit sore. And it really sucks because I think I do better on the mouse, honestly. Like, legit, I think I'm better on the mouse. Do you play a Do-Fi? I do play a Do-Fi. I love a Do-Fi. The New World is insane, dude. I don't know if you've seen the new update in a Do-Fi. New level is fucking crazy. I think it's harder than It Go, honestly. Which is crazy to say because I feel like It Go is like the hardest level in the game right now. But now I think it actually has competition. Obviously base level. I know the creative community of a Do-Fi, they've definitely made harder levels. I watched what's his name? That one YouTuber. He like lifts weights and shit. I watch some high level of Do-Fi players sometimes. They're pretty entertaining. Also, I'm gonna warm up with 88 to 100 from now on. It's a run I should really have down at this point. You know what? I don't care. My brain is a little slow right now. I woke up like an hour ago. That is the perfect example of having a slow brain, dude. That was so sad. My cube just whoop, just fell, bro. Spacebar the greatest input. You know what's weird? Okay, I don't know if anyone here has a Sayo device, but if you do, does anyone else notice that when you set the button, like the button input to the mouse button or spacebar, it feels significantly worse than the up arrow key? Am I tripping, or is that actually a problem? Like, I swear to God, if I use left click input on my Sayo device, it's like dog shit. Like, my Sayo device is literal dog shit. But when I use the up arrow, it's like perfect. Am I watching the Winter Olympics or the Super Bowl? I am in the US, so I'm gonna watch the Super Bowl. I need to watch the Olympics more, I think. I've started to grow a little more tired of American sports. And I know the Olympics includes America, by the way, but you know what I mean by that. Like, I think I want to branch out my sports viewership. Like, I recently started watching Australian rugby, which is honestly really entertaining. Patriots or Seahawks? My money is on the Seahawks, but as a Rams fan, I want the Patriots to win. But my money is on the Seahawks. If the Seahawks lose, that's like a generational fumble. I genuinely think the Seahawks have such a huge advantage that, like, they need to win. If they don't win, they fucking blew it. I think they have the upper hand in every, like, category. Also, this is exactly why I need to practice 88 to 100. It's like, I'm just very weird on this. Then again, I am chatting a lot, but I'd rather do that. I read a comment on one of Doggy's more recent streams, and it was people being like, Doggy would have beaten this already if he didn't read the chat every like 2 picoseconds. But at the same time, it's like I kind of resonate a bit more with what Doggy does. You know, it's really hard to play a level and just, you know, be with yourself, not talk to anyone or anything for an extended period of time. It's unhealthy. Like, I can imagine he is going through a whole lot of just suffering with that level, even though he probably does enjoy it deep down, just like how I really enjoy every end deep down. But like, you know, it helps. I'm telling you guys, like, it helps to look away from the level for a bit and just talk. How the fuck do you do 67 to 72 consistently? Do not be upset, because that is probably the hardest part towards the ending. Like, in the last third of the level, 67 to 100, that's probably the hardest section there. Like, keep in mind, I have tens of thousands of attempts on this level, and I've just recently got consistent at it. So I'd say don't be so down on yourself for struggling there. Also, 71% has 2 frame perfects and a 120 hertz frame perfect. It's hard. So don't beat yourself up about it. It takes a long time to get consistent at that at Starkey's part, which is 67 to 79. Like, that 12% run right there is really hard. Don't get it twisted, because everyone says the ending of every end is really easy, but Starkey's part is like the exception, you know? And also lineups. Almost every single frame perfect in Starkey's part has a lineup. It's just very difficult. You know, they're lineups that I could tell you what they are, but you really need to just do them to know where they are. Also, this jump at 93 is just kicking my butt. No wonder, bro. Yeah, here, I'll show you. It's a 120 hertz frame perfect. Also, 68 is such a hard jump. This jump right here is just so hard for some reason. So 60 hertz, 120. There you go. Like all of that in a row. It's hard, man. So don't be so down on yourself for struggling there. It's kind of evil. It's one of the few times in this level where they do like more than 2 straight frame perfects. The only other time they do that, I think, is in Mindcap's part and 94%. What level do you think is harder, B or club step? B, 100%. What's the hardest part in every end? It depends on your like skill. I'm gonna be honest. But if I were to just say one end all be all hardest part, I'm gonna go with Blitzer, which is 23 to 33. Blitzer, like if you watch Popoff, you'll understand, because Popoff himself says like after 33%, every end just becomes so much easier. That's Popoff, by the way, so of course it's easy for him. But like Blitzer's part is the last choke point, and I think it's got a lot of really weird jumps that you have to learn. I think a runner-up would be honestly Starkey's part, which is 67 to 79. Mindcap, which is 8 to 15, is an honorable mention. But Mindcap's part gets really consistent. You beat B? Well, that's awesome, man. I remember I beat B as well. B is pretty fun. It's definitely harder than club step. Like I think club step definitely requires a lot of ship skill compared to B, but I still think B is a lot harder, you know. Thank you, PS Edits, for subscribing. So yeah, mad props, dude. B's like, don't let people say, oh, it's an easy medium demon. It's still a medium demon. It's still a medium demon, man. Like, good job. I think that all the main demons, they're all easy demons to me, with club step being the hardest in my opinion. Dude, I hate that jump at 93. I cannot express to you guys how much that jump at 93 sucks. And now I'm just buns. I'm just so buns at the ending right now. I'm being frustrated by Sakupen Hell, but you got 30 to 100. If you get 30 to 100, you got that, man. You got Sakupen Hell. I know, but the beginning is so bullshit, though. Especially on 60 hertz, dude. Like, I'm pretty sure on 60 hertz, the first release is a frame perfect. So good luck. What do you mean, in your opinion, club step is the hardest? People just glaze deadlock for no reason? Well, that's why I say my opinion. Because people, like, I think, honestly, deadlock and club step are very close in difficulty. It just depends on what you consider more difficult. You know, ship gameplay or memory. I think both are very close in difficulty, but I think club step demands more skill, whereas deadlock requires more focus. You know what I mean? They both equally have their own difficulty spike that you need to overcome. It just depends on what you think is more difficult. For me, I think I'm a pretty low technical skill player, so I struggled a lot on club step versus deadlock, which, by the way, I beat deadlock first. I did the demons in reverse order. I beat deadlocked, then toe 2, then club step. But I think toe 2 is the easiest. And that's it's kind of weird to say that. I'm gonna be honest. Like, no one really thinks toe 2 is the easiest, but I think it's the easiest. But I think they're all relatively close. Like, I actually think they're pretty close difficulty-wise. It's just Toe 2 is more of like, hey, do you remember how to play the game? Club Step is, do you know how to use the ship? And Deadlock is, do you know how to manage 2.0 like stuff? But I will admit, yeah, Deadlock does get a lot of glaze for its difficulty. But it is, you know, it's right next to Club Step, I think. They're very close. I don't care which way you think is, which one you think is harder. I think, you know, if you beat any of the main demons, like, you should be happy. Doesn't matter which one is harder, you know. Oh my god, the last frame perfect, bro. That jump's hard. That jump's hard, man. Like, the lineup is so odd on that. Also, let me go through all my millions of every end copies that I have in my editor. My lineup has to be like really far off on this ending. Like, let me like revisit it a bit. It's hard, guys. Like, that jump's hard. You want to attempt Deadlock, but you can't beat Club Step in 20 attempts. That just means you're really good at the ship. Is that a better lineup that I could use? Sorry, I'm learning a new lineup. I know you guys don't really care, but like, you know, it is important to know lineups for when you do frame perfects. Because frame perfects are hard, man. I'm too old for this shit. I'm like a fossilized GD player to some people. Deadlocked is only hard because of the spam. Yes, the wave parts are hard. The wave parts are really hard. Skeletal Shenanigans is ass. Visually, no. Gameplay is mid. I wouldn't say it's ass though. I'd just say the gameplay is incredibly mid. Like, I think Skeletal Shenanigans, from a visual standpoint, it deserves the glaze. From a gameplay standpoint, not so much. But then again, when people play Skeletal Shenanigans, they're not really looking at the gameplay. They're looking at the cool visuals. So, you know, I get your sentiment though. Like, who here plays Skeletal Shenanigans for the gameplay? I'm guaranteed not a lot of people here are going to say that. I played it because it was an event level. The deco doesn't... Oh, no. The decoration doesn't hinder the gameplay. It's just the gameplay itself is just mediocre. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean it's bad, though. It's just like, okay, you know? Like, I barely remember it, and I think what tells me if a level has really good gameplay is if you remember the gameplay. You know, when I played levels like Bloodbath, it's like I remember the gameplay of that level because it was so fun. You know, same with, you know, Dance Massacre. But like with Skeletal Shenanigans, it's like I don't fucking remember anything about the gameplay. I remember the visuals are amazing, obviously. But like the gameplay itself was just kind of unnotable, you know? I mean, the boss fight was, you know, cool. Do you guys like how hard I'm hitting my fucking Seiya device? I played it because people won't shut the hell up about it. Boss fight is just go up in circles. The boss fight's weird, but I like it. I still like it. It's better than 2.0 boss fights. That's all I'm going to say. If you guys were around in the 2.0 era, you know what I'm talking about. Where it's like the boss fights where every single attack was there was no indicators. It was just fucking, oh, here comes a saw blade at Mach 5. Oh, you should have dodged it, man. I still miss 2.0 sometimes, but I don't miss that. I can tell you that for sure. The 2.0 boss fights were horrible. Except for Sirius. Actually, you know what? You know what? I think Sirius even, you know, deals with that too. You know, the spikes come at you so fucking fast. It's still a good level, but it's like, I don't like 2.0 boss fights. They were just, they were a little raw, you know. Obviously 2.1 is when we really started to cook with them. I forgot you can't hold there. 81x2 on denouement. I don't know how to say it. Denouement? Should I low-key drop it? I wouldn't drop it. I know it. I know that's brutal, especially for a level where it's like what, like 12 frame perfects at the beginning of the level. But I think with denouement, I think that's just one of those levels where you have to just thug it out, you know. Like, you know, if you can get past the wave one time, I think just complete it at that point. Like, I'm not even gonna bother with it because I'm so bad at the wave that like I can't even get past 3%, bro. But I think, you know, just push through. Do some more runs that are do 3 to 100 a bit more, you know. Really lock in that run into your head. I see a lot of people that when they play that level, like you need to have like 100 runs from 3 to 100, dude. Not because, you know, it's hard, but because, you know, you really want to drill that into your head. Because once you get past the wave part, you want it to be over. Also, if you guys are wondering what the heck I'm doing, I want to warm up every day with 83 to 100, but I've just been really bad from 88 to 100 that I just practiced that for a while, and now I'm just gonna try to do one of these runs to like 94. Why am I holding there? 60 FPS with no CVF is so delayed, it's not even funny. Is denouement even possible on 60? No, it has to be. Of course it's possible in 60 hertz. I don't know why I thought it wasn't possible. It doesn't look like it's possible at all, bro. And yet it is. No, you're good. I just had to like think about it for a bit. Very small brain activity here. Oh, now that you mentioned that, I remember watching someone when they played that level. I was wondering because they played it at 6. They had their frame unlock or whatever it was, you know, the setting in Geode, where they made it 60 hertz, but then once they got past the wave, they changed it to like 480. And I was like, why the hell are you doing that? But now it makes sense. Now that you mentioned that, like I completely forgot that, you know, the framing would like the timing windows are completely different on different hertz. In my opinion, changing the FPS after doing the wave is low-key cheating. Technically, by the way, on Pointer Crate, only for list demons, by the way. I'm saying if you do it, I don't care. You know, we're all just trying to play Geometry Dash. But according to Pointer Crate, it is cheating to change your FPS in the middle of a level. Or not cheating, but it's not a viable submission if you change your FPS in the middle of an attempt. But remember, that's only for like list demons, so don't even worry about it if you're playing any other easier level. Do what you want, man. And honestly, if you don't care about Pointer Crate, change your FPS in the middle of the level, dude. In my opinion, like I think people get overly heated about things that, in my opinion, don't really matter. At the end of the day, it's like, oh, look at this guy. He's trying to do 60 hertz frame perfects easier. It's like, Yeah, what a dude, am I right? Let's make fun of him for, you know, playing Geometry Dash the way he wants to. Damn it. Just beat it. I don't think you're getting leaderboard banned for doing that. Here, let me pull up Pointer Crate. I'm pretty sure they say you can't change your FPS. I don't think you get leaderboard banned. I think you would just, like, what would happen is they would just say it's illegitimate. Like, they wouldn't count it. Like me saying it's cheating is definitely an overstatement. I just think they don't allow you to change your FPS in the middle of gameplay because of what you guys just described. Because if that was technically allowed, there would be people that would just pause before every frame perfect, change it to 60 hertz, do it, change it back to 240, continue, and then, you know, do that over and over again. Because you can pause in the middle of a run like that's allowed, obviously, but they don't allow you to do they don't allow you to change FPS values, and I think that's fair. Because as I said, you know, it technically does allow some people to just exploit jumps, because technically what you could do in every end is during the 120 hertz frame perfect jumps, you could lower your FPS to make them technically, by the way, technically easier. Are they actually easier? Not by much, but you know, you could technically make them easier by lowering your FPS. But then you also look, every end player plays at more than 240 FPS. Including myself, which I play at 240. How did everyone get rated, by the way? Because it is decorated. Whether you believe it is or not, it is decorated. Like, you can make the argument, is it as decorated as some levels? Hell no. Are some levels out there that should be, you know, rated by their decoration that aren't rated? Yes. But I don't think every end doesn't deserve to be rated. I think it should be rated. There's obviously other levels out there that should be as well. I think comparing every end to the more traditional, cool-looking decoration is what kind of clouds your mind into thinking it doesn't deserve to be rated. You get what I mean? Like, I get it. It is extremely not decorated by modern standards. Like, you're 100% right. It is not like when you guys look at this, do you guys see this is like the most beautiful flashing effect ever? Hell no. I have played so many levels from like 1.9 that look better than this, but it still deserves to be rated. You get what I mean? You're right. It's not that decorated. There's only a background. It's 1.0 style decoration, which RobTop doesn't decorate anymore, right? But every end as a concept and as its background is what gives it that rating. But that doesn't take away from the fact that there are other levels out there that do deserve to be rated that aren't. Like, don't get it twisted. You get what I mean? Every end deserves to be rated, but there are definitely better levels out there that should be rated too. Like, it's kind of sad seeing people like put out these absolutely gorgeous decorated levels and they're not rated. It almost puts a bad, you know, it puts a bad look on every end just because you know, other levels aren't decorated, other levels aren't rated that do deserve to be rated. Like, it's again, it's just like a brain thing where people just kind of despise every end because it's not visually impressive compared to modern levels. But as someone who has played this game for almost 10 years, I like it. Am I biased as hell? A bit, but I like it. It's nice. It's a nice change of pace from all these modern, cool-looking, flashy levels, you know? Not flashy at all. It's just very simple. It's kind of like Dear Nostalgist, but way harder. Damn it, dude. Concept does not matter at all. That's just completely false. Like genuinely, that's just completely false. That was a good run, by the way. Like, do you think Lover's Sadness deserves to be rated? Like, let me show you what Lover's Sadness looks like. I'm gonna show you this level, and I want you to tell me if you think it looks, if it deserves to be rated or not. Like, genuinely. I'm gonna no clip this, by the way, but I know how to play it. Dude, I completely forgot how to play this. If you say no, then you're missing the point. You think so, but this is where you're messing up. This is where you're, like, I'm not calling you stupid, by the way, because it's very, like, there's so many abstract Geometry Dash levels out there that if this deserves to be rated, why doesn't every end deserve to be rated? Because Lover's Sadness is built off of a very complex, deep concept. You're playing as the duel, you're a couple, you are together, and then you gradually grow apart until one of them is gone. That's the concept of Lover's Sadness. That's what makes this such a beautiful level, not the decoration. Does anyone think this is like great decoration? Not really. I mean, it looks fine, but it's not great. It's literally the exact same thing as every end, where it's like, you look at this, there's just a snippet right here. Does this look cool? But the concept is what carries it. What is the concept of every end? It's an endless section of 1.0 gameplay. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, oh, that's just like a boring concept. Why is Dear Nostalgist rated? Because it's meant to be a joke pointing, like, Dear Nostalgist is a conceptual level. It's poking fun at the nostalgists that are like, oh, 1.0 was so much better than, 2.0. Like, every end is meant to, like, have you seen the artwork that Mindcap has put out on his posters? It's like this corridor that you're going through, and endless, and every end, you're going through this endless corridor of just simple Geometry Dash gameplay. In my mind, it really brings out the nostalgia, the original feel of when you first play Geometry Dash. When you first play a level like Stereo Madness, Can't Let Go, Dry Out, like when you first play those levels, I think every end really encapsulates that feeling while also being a top level and an endless, mind-numbing corridor. You get what I mean? This is a star rate at best. It's featured. I think I get it. Like, I don't want to call you guys dumb for thinking that they don't deserve to be rated, because from a visual standpoint, you're right. If you literally made a level called, Sigma Boy, and you did the exact same decoration as Lover's Sadness, but there's no, like, deeper concept behind it, you just created slop, essentially. That's why when people make 1.0 levels that aren't really that unique, it doesn't get rated, as opposed to Every End, which is unique. And look, Every End's not even featured. It's just star rated. And I think that's perfectly fine. I mean, I'm biased as hell, and I'm like, I would like it to be, featured, but I get why it's not featured. Because not everyone can, not everyone gets it. And that's okay. Like, if you don't think if you think Every End shouldn't be rated, you can keep that mind. You can keep that mindset. I'm not going to try to convince you. That's like trying to convince someone that, hey guys, Acropolis has good gameplay. Some people really like Acropolis. I fucking despise Acropolis, but I'm not gonna try to. I can try to tell them that it sucks, but that's not gonna change them at the end of the day. Just like how I can tell you, Every End is carried by its concept, and that it's a very unique 1.0 style level. So but that means you can get an idea, decorate a bit, and get a creator point. No, you're missing the point. Like, an idea is different from a concept. You know what I mean? Because let's do like a little thought experiment here, right? So I'm sitting here, I really want to make a level, right? I have an idea, guys. I want to make a 1.9 themed wave-based level. Kind of like Sakupen Hell, right? That's an idea, right? Does that immediately mean it deserves to be rated? Hell no. Not at all. If I decorate it well, it does deserve to be rated. If it's like a really cool, awesome looking style, let's say I take the artificial ascent style. I know I said 1.9, but let's say I build like artificial ascent look, but in a 1.9 like kind of theme. That's decoration. And I think decoration is what can carry a level into being rated, but you don't need all this high, awesome, flashy 2.2 effects to make a level cool. You know what I mean? It's kind of like when you walk around in a museum and you look at abstract art, most people don't give a shit about it because it doesn't look good. I'm right there with you. When I go to like a local museum and I look at a painting on the wall and it's just a red square with a blue line in the middle of it, I'm like, what the fuck even is this? You get what I mean? But for some art pieces that are abstract, they can actually stand out despite having that simplistic look because there's more meaning behind it. Now, Every End, the meaning is definitely more moot than other levels, but you can't take everything at face value when it comes to the look of a level. Like when it comes to whether it's rate worthy or not, you have to look at the gameplay. You have to look at whether it's original or not. You have to look at the decoration. Decoration is just as important. There's many factors that go into what makes a level rate worthy, and I think Every End tackles two of them. It's got it's got an original concept, and the gameplay's fine. The decoration is definitely not there, but it ticks 2 of 3 boxes, which honestly most levels do. Have you ever played a lot of modern levels? I think they look beautiful and they have cool concepts and they're original, but they have terrible gameplay. They still get rated, but gameplay is just as important as decoration in my mind. So I think if you only look at Every End at face value, you think it doesn't deserve to be rated. And sure, you're right. Like, who looks at this and they say, oh, this is like modern peak, level design. It's not. It's not. But it's original. And it does have things that are deeper than just, 1.0 style level. I feel like it should be balanced and not too decorated, but still look decent. No, like, I don't know how else to put it. You don't need to have good decoration to make a rate-worthy level. Like, respectfully, I think you just don't understand that part. And that, like, I'm not trying to be mean, but I just don't think you understand that a level cannot be decorated and rate-worthy. There are plenty of levels out there that have the most horrendous looking decoration ever, but they're still rated because they have, solid gameplay. They have something behind them. There are some levels out there that are absolutely dog shit that don't deserve to be rated, but they are. And I think putting every end in that section of levels is ridiculous. You're pretty much like calling every end a map pack level is like, I think, kind of a crazy statement, because it's not. Most people that judge every end have never actually played every end. You know what I mean? I think if you've never actually played every end, you don't really have a lot of room to critique it for its gameplay. And a lot of people tend to be like, oh, it's just a bunch of frame perfects. You have not played every end, clearly. There are only 84 frame perfects out of like, what, 400 jumps in this level. Damn it. That's like 1/5, bro. Yes, you can, David. I don't know why, like, now it's getting to the point where you're just not listening. You definitely can have a 1.0 style level that is original and a unique concept that can be rated. Like, yes, you can do that. Do you want me to show you a level that was rated almost 10 years ago that did the exact same thing every end did? I'll give you a hint. It's called Dear Nostalgist. Do you look at this level and you say, this is so well decorated? No, it's not. It's a 1.0 themed level. You are completely missing the point. You literally just said a statement. Like, but you're also saying you can make a 1.0 decoration and have an amazing concept that could be rated. This is a featured level, and it's got a 1.0 style. Every end is a rated level with a 1.0 style. Look at all these map packs. These are all 1.0, not this one. These are fucking these are all 1.9. There's a bunch of old ass levels here that are rated. You are like, I just think you're completely missing the point here. You are only using decoration as a means to justify your argument when that's not even close to being enough. Literally have any features that literally made sense. 10 years ago was 2.0, brother. We had a lot of features in 2.0 and 1.9. Dear Nostalgist was made in 2.0. Let that sink in, buddy. This is made in 2.1. This is only one update later. You are complete it's now getting to the point where it's just like going in one ear and out the other. Like, you can have a rate-worthy level that is not decorated. There are people that still make 1.9 themed levels nowadays, and they get rated, even if it doesn't look that great. Let me guess, you think EXO doesn't deserve to be rated? Because it's 1.0 themed. You know, it uses 1.0 blocks. EXO doesn't deserve to be rated, right? Is that right? Do you think EXO doesn't deserve to be rated? It should be balanced. What the hell do you mean balanced? It's a top 8 level. It's pretty well balanced. Again, it just shows that you've never played this level. EXO is creative, so it should be rated. All right, so everyone, let's do exactly what we've been doing. Let's go to EXO, right? Is this the most amazing decoration you guys have ever seen? Like I know the level has different effects later, but because we like taking things at face value here, is this the most beautiful decoration that you guys have ever seen before? Is this like so beautifully, this is like epic feature worthy. Who, like, no. This is using 1.0 blocks. You see what I mean? Like, this doesn't look great at face value. You're right, Speedy, by the way. I know later on, but when you're like David here and you take everything at face value, you completely miss the point. You get what I mean? Like, later in the level in XO, there's some really cool effects that Kermal does, but they're still using 1. Like, he said 1.0 themed levels. He says, oh, you can make a 1.0 themed level and get it rated. Look at XO. Look at Dear Nostalgist. Look at Every End. Every End is not the first 1.0 themed level to be rated. Dear Nostalgist looks like dog shit, and it plays like dog shit, and it's still rated. XO plays like dog shit, but it's still rated. Every End is a top 8 level, so for some people it plays like dog shit, but it's still a rated level. When in the chat did I say they shouldn't be rated, in my opinions? No. Like, you said Every End shouldn't be rated, so by that argument, why is XO rated? It's a 1.0 themed level. Your argument against Every End is it's 1.0 themed. It's not that, cool. So why is XO and Conical Depression and other levels rated? Huh? You don't know why it was rated? Yeah, that's you pretty much saying you don't think it should be. Conical Depression is a joke. Wait. Maybe the joke is the concept of the level, and that's why Conical Depression got rated. So maybe Every End has a concept that got it rated. Did you think about that? You literally just said Conical Depression is a joke level. That's why it's rated. Maybe Every End has its own unique concept, which is why it's rated. Wow. Isn't thinking so awesome? It's amazing what our brains can do. Because it was promised to get rated from RobTop, though. It's still a joke level. Like, RobTop looked at it. He looked at it and saw it's the most piece of shit level ever. And he said, Kermal, if you beat this, I'll rate it. And he rated it. As a joke. That's the whole fucking point of Conical Depression. It's a joke, shitty level. That's why it was rated. That is the concept of the level. It revolves around it being a joke of a very terrible level. Like, it is that deep sometimes. Every ad, shut up. On my days, I said that I didn't know why it was rated because I don't know the concept at all. That's what I said. No, now you're switching up. Like, you lost and now you're switching up. Like, you were trying to argue as if it shouldn't be rated, and now you're being like, now you're trying to be like, oh, I never said that. Like, dude, it's okay to be wrong. Like, you were trying to argue against it being rated, and now you're trying to act like I never said that. Like, just own up to the fact that you probably just made some wrong points. Now you know why it's rated, Like, I'm fucking wrong all the time. I'm a dumbass, dude. I'm fucking stupid. But I know why Every End is rated. And, I know that there are a lot of people out there that are not very smart when it comes to Every End. And as someone who has played this level extensively, I know a lot about Every End. So if you try to come in here and, talk shit on it, I'll listen, unless you just start regurgitating shit like, well, it's a 1.0 themed level, so it shouldn't be rated. What? Like, that's a stupid argument. I think it's rated because it looked cool. See, look, you're so switching out. Yeah, I'm just gonna ban you. Yeah, I'll just make this easier. Yeah, thanks for pointing out that it was just straight up rage bait at that point. I like, Whew. Welcome to the GD community, am I right? It sucks because there's some people that I could actually have a conversation about, you know, this stuff. And, you know, I listen, like, I'll listen to them and they listen to me. But this was very clearly in one ear, out the other, and then proceeded to switch up. Like, bro was losing and he decided to switch sides. He pulled a fucking Italy, bro. It's like, yeah, I don't get why it's rated at all. I don't think it should be. And now all of a sudden it was like, well, you know, I never said that it shouldn't be rated. And it's like, this whole time you were arguing about it not being rated. And now all of a sudden you want to act like you weren't doing that. The default profile picture should have given it away. I don't think the background effect existed before every end came back. So anyone could do it back then. Like, the background effect could be done before every end existed. Like, it could be done in 2.0 technically, but it would be very laggy. And I think there are some levels that did something that's similar to every end, but not quite every end. Like, some people probably did, like, the background shows gameplay. I don't think it's a 1 billion%, you know, only Mindcap had this idea. There are definitely other people in this world that have had this idea. It's just, this is the first time it's been executed like this, you know? Like, in my opinion, if someone else made a level like this, it would still be rated. It's not, it's obviously, you know, got more influence because there are famous creators that worked on it. But I genuinely think if, like, you know, a group of just 7 random creators built a cool level like this, I think it would be rate worthy. I don't think the fact that it's, you know, Kermal's in it and, you know, Mindcap and other popular, why did I do that? Some people are just mindless and other people say you can talk your mind and they will listen. Yeah. Also, hello. I don't know if I forgot to say hello, CG Bang. How late are we today? You're about, I think, 40 minutes late. Nepesta made a part. Dude, I completely forgot Nepesta. I'm so sorry. You're right, bro. It's like I only listed Kermal and Mindcap, but it's like, oh shit, you know, some other really popular dude, you know, his name's just like Nepesta or something. No one's ever heard of him. I think it's just because there's a lot of also lesser known creators in this level. Like, I don't know who Cobra Blitz is, or Lol What, or Serve. Actually, I think I might recognize Serve. But, like, I know Penito. He made a part in Orbit and Heliopolis, I'm pretty sure. Actually, I really like Penito's parts. Like, if you've ever seen Heliopolis, Penito's part is the first part of the level. It's really cool. It is like as someone who loves timing levels, Penito, like, bro, I like him. I like what he's made. He makes the exact, like, he makes the exact kind of timing shit that I like. Where it's just these hard, awkward ass timings. Who is Cobra Blitz? Like, I don't mean that as like an insult. I genuinely want to know. His part's really cool. Like, every single part in the stuff I think is really good, but it's like some of these people, it's you know what, that one Family Guy clip where it's like showing the Grammys or something, and it's like a bunch of just random ass celebrity names. It's like, that's how I feel, where it's like I just don't recognize modern like creators anymore. Like, I don't really like Cobra Blitz, you know, Lol What 7, Starkey the Salad, you know, who else? Korea Quir. Like, I just don't know. I'm just not that deep in the GD community, I guess. I'd love to see more of the stuff they've done, though, you know, because they've made really good parts in this level. Except for Mindcap. Mindcap, I hate Mindcap's part. But you know, he brought the level together, so I still appreciate him. But man, his part is just so annoying to play. Serve wasn't the first. That was him. Yeah, I knew I recognized the name a bit. I just needed to be reminded of like what he did. You're right. That's like something. That's something he did. Like I just completely forgot, dude. I knew Serve was such like a. I swear, it's like I should know who this person is, but it just wasn't ringing a bell. But thank you. That makes a little more sense. Oh, I forgot I do a different strat here. Blitz is verifying Death Corridor remake. Cobra Blitz? Someone told me Sweater Weather is overrated, like as a level or difficulty? Because difficulty, I can't give you much on that, unfortunately, because I haven't played it. As a level, I think it's pretty properly rated. I think a lot of people try to dish out the overrated tag too much, when instead of overrated, it should just be a popular level that's just not, you know, great. I think Sweater Weather is fine. I don't think it's a bad level. I think it's just, you know, a solid level. I just think a lot of people, like, it's got a lot more, it's getting scrutinized more because it's popular. It's kind of like B, for example. B is shit on a lot, even though it's a really fun medium demon, you know? But it's shit on, you know? A lot of people point out the little details because it's a popular level. It's like for example, no one talks about crowd control and how shitty of a gameplay that is, but people will talk about Cataclysm gameplay being shitty. They both have shitty gameplay, by the way. Crowd control and Cataclysm. It's just more people talk about Cataclysm having shitty gameplay. So a lot of people are like, well, Cataclysm is overrated. No, it's properly rated. It just has some moments, you know? I think Sweater Weather, from what I've seen, it just seems like this is an extreme demon that a lot of people like to play. What's wrong with it? It's like Accu. What's wrong with playing Accu? What's wrong with playing Sweater Weather? I think the reason it's popular, it has to be popular for a reason. Levels don't become popular for absolutely no reason. You know what I mean? I think if you, and also at the end of the day, who cares what other people say? I am playing a level right now that everyone thinks sucks. Like, there are so many people that think every end sucks as a level, but you know, I'm still playing it because I don't give a fuck what people think about every end. I think it's a fun level. I've had so many hate comments in all of my videos just about, you know, playing every end. It's like, dude, why are you playing every end? This is stupid, you know? Out of every demon you picked, you know, every end instead of some other fuck-ass one. And it's like, because every end's fun. It's fun. I like every end. All I'll say is, you know, be sure to just defend your, you know, stance on it. Don't let the community sway your mind on a level. Have your own opinion on it. You know what I mean? Like, here's a good example. A lot of people think Acropolis is a great level. And I think Acropolis is one of the worst levels I've ever played. Am I saying those people are stupid for thinking it's a great level? No. I just disagree. You know, but I'm not gonna let the community saying, oh, Acropolis is good, Jade, you need to understand that. I'm not gonna let that sway my mind. I'll keep it in mind, you know, don't ignore those. Keep it in mind, but also, you know, keep your stance on it. I will never, like, I have never really thought of Acropolis as a good level, and I will still think of it as a bad level. No matter how many times I'm told in my ear, no, Acropolis is good, you just don't understand. It's like, but I do understand. I played Acropolis. It's terribly balanced. You know, the beginning section is just boring. It's a slog. The song is just boring. Like, I don't like Final Battle, that part of the song specifically. It's like, you know, like just the community we're in, they love to scrutinize just the smallest things. You know what I mean? There are people like, okay. Do you guys want to see the most stupid people ever? Go to my... actually, I'm not going to plug it, but if you really want to, if you just go to one of my, like, Every End But Robot or Nullscapes But Cube video and just scroll through some of the comments, you'll see some people be like, this looks like an insane demon. To Every End But You're the Robot with like 60 frame per, like someone on my Stereo Madness with every end gameplay video where there's 24 60 hertz frame perfects said, this looks like an insane demon. This community is stupid. And I'm not calling you guys stupid, by the way, but like the general vocal minority of this community is really dumb. They look at Zoink and say he's washed when he doesn't get 90% on every attempt in orbit. You know what I mean? Like, we're in a community with a lot of brain dead people. So that's why I want you guys to understand to stay strong on your opinion, because the community sometimes is just really stupid. Like that David dude that just came in here. Like, they're just really dumb sometimes. So like, the only way to counter that is to just hold your own opinion, you know? Don't let the majority opinion sway your opinion. If you go against the opinion, you go against the opinion. Like my Acropolis opinion and my Every End opinion. You know what I mean? I think Every End deserves to be featured. Do you guys disagree? Probably. And I'm okay with that. Like I'll put my part of the argument, and you guys will make good points too why it shouldn't be featured. And you know, we'll give each other thumbs up, and we'll keep working towards our new hardest level. You know, all in good times. And then there's just a bunch of other idiots that would prefer to be like, no, I beat Flame Wall in like 5 tries, and it's like their hardest is 9 circles. Pretty sure your Stereo Madness remake is maximum hard demon, plus or minus I'm gonna fucking kill you. Like, for some perspective, by the way, my Stereo Madness level, it's harder than Stereo Extremeness. I mean that, by the way, full heart. You can scrutinize me for that. My Every End fucking Stereo Madness fusion, that's harder than Stereo Extremeness. It is like, if that level was, because it's not legitimately verified, obviously, but if that level was rated, which it shouldn't be, please do not try to get that level rated. It is terrible. It would be like a top 300. It might even be like top 200. Genuinely. It's got 24 really hard frame perfects in it. It's literally Every End if it was shortened by, like, you know, if it was really short. That's essentially what I built. It's like some people have just completely lost the plot. Like, yeah, I think it should be an insane demon. It's like, are you brain dead? Like, what levels have you played? What level have you played that makes it look like that makes a top 200 extreme demon look like an insane demon to you? You're either Zoink or you have no knowledge of difficulty. 200 and 300 is a really big gap. Well, that's because I changed my mind on it. It's got 24 frame perfects. Keep in mind Congregation, which is another timing level that's like mostly the cube, has like 12, but it also has a lot of really hard jumps in it. I genuinely think my Every End Stereo Madness fusion is about as hard as Congregation. Maybe, you know, no one's beaten it yet. So maybe someone will beat it and be like, yeah, you're stupid. And, you know, when they do, I'll agree with them because they'll have a better sentiment on it. I've played Stereo Extremeness and Congregation, like I've practiced them. And I genuinely think the Stereo Madness one is right there with them. I know there's a pretty big gap between those two levels, but I think it's right in between. It's harder than Stereo Extremeness, might be easier than Congregation. Only because of its length. It's a very short level, you know, it's only 1:30. Congregation's 3 minutes long. Also, Kiru sent me like a picture of someone that sent a comment on one of his Every End videos where it's like, you shouldn't play Every End. It doesn't really make you a skilled player. And then we checked his profile and his hardest is Bloodbath. And it's like, look, I get it, man. But what do you know about top level skill when your hardest is Bloodbath? Like, that's why I don't like it when people call me a pro. My hardest is Sakupen Hell. We need to lock in, guys. I'm not a pro. I got 2.4k subs? Seriously? Dude, did I really? Oh my god, I did. Holy shit. Guys, can you all do me a favor? Can I get 2.5k subs just so I can have more subscribers than my friends so I can brag? Nah, I know you guys can't do much about that. I'm just gonna work towards that. If I get 100 more subscribers, I'll have more than my friend and I can brag about it. I'll try to get to the drop. You could probably get to the drop, honestly. I think the Stereo Madness level is so second half heavy. I'm sorry if you ever try to play and beat that level. I honestly advise you to not, because it is the second half is so much harder than the first half. And one of the jumps is technically a 120 hertz frame perfect. On 60 hertz, it's obviously, you know, a 60 hertz, but one of them is technically a 120. I believe I fixed it because there used to be problems with it on 60 hertz. Like originally when I posted the level, it was not 60 hertz friendly, but I recently patched it. So now if you play it, it should be 60 hertz friendly. I don't know what I want to do next though. I don't want to do back on track but every end, because it's like, dog, I can't be a one trick pony. I was thinking of doing a Nullscapes X back on track fusion, because I think am I weird for thinking back on track would be great with robot? Like the song would make pretty solid robot gameplay. Maybe I'm crazy because I have a fucking weird ass brain when it comes to making levels. But I feel like I feel like, you know, that makes sense. You know, back on track with robot gameplay. I feel like that makes sense. I do not know why I pressed Q instead of R. Dude, look at my fucking heart rate when I got to that part. Like, that's crazy. I think I've been just so inconsistent lately at Mindcap's part that my heart rate now jumps when I just get to left unknown. That just shows that like I haven't been doing that great lately, honestly. I've just been building consistency at Mindcap and Panuta, or Penato. Fuck! I keep saying his name wrong. I want to be nice to Penato because I like his gameplay, and now I'm going to say his name correctly. I'm telling you guys, I'm so close. I'm so close to getting another Joxy attempt. You know what? I'm going to make that my goal for today. I'm going to make my goal one Joxy attempt. A very small, but a goal that I really, I'm gonna go big. I spelled attempt wrong. I'm gonna go big today. Normally I'm like, let me get a left unknown attempt, but today I want a Joxy attempt. For those that don't know what that means 33%. Also, plus or minus, I don't know if you're still here. Did you see fucking Kiru's last stream? Dude, it's scary. I think he's gonna he's I don't think he realizes he's getting close to a new PB. He's gotten 50% like 3 times this last week. Like that's pretty wild. Who dies to that jump, bro? What the fuck? Oh my god, why have I had so many fucking heartbreaking deaths, man? Are we serious right now? Dude, that stings! Oh my god, I've never actually been like fucking heartbroken over a death like this. What? That's like, by the way, you're not supposed to buffer on that jump. If you're like, why did I jump so late? You can't hold or you'll hit this spike. You have to actually time that jump. So, oh my god, dude. Really? Oh, that hurts. I only had one more hard jump to get past. Bro. My poor little heart, dude. I'm gonna cry. I actually fucking teared up, dude. That's so sad. That's such a no, it's not a stupid death. That's just a sad death. It's not a stupid death. It's not a stupid death. This is a sad one. Someone could theoretically, well, you could theoretically jump from any level to any level. It would just be stupid. So you're right, CG Bang. I think Stereo Madness to like every end makes what would you say? More logical sense than like Stereo Madness to TS2. But I think both are possible, but stupid as shit at the same time. Like, you know, you could learn how to use the UFO, you know, while you're playing TS2, I guess. It is more grounded into the floor because every end uses a fake floor. This is not the real ground. This is a fake one. So you're not tripping.
You'll make sure they're never found. Why? Just let them do the jump they want to. I mean, you could argue I'm doing one of the stupidest jumps ever. I did a wave, a fast-paced, extremely short wave level to an extremely long, drawn-out cube level. I'd argue mine is just as stupid from doing, like, you know, Bloodbath, the fucking Amethyst. Actually, Bloodbath, the Amethyst is way crazier. But, like, I'd argue they're on the same level of stupidity. A very middle of the road extreme to a literal top 20. Or top 10 according to Pointer Crate. You got 22% on every end. That's nice job. Get ready for the drop though. It's a frame perfect. It's too straight actually. I'm not evil. I didn't make it 8 straight like Mindcap. I just made it 2. I don't know why I died to that one still. I'm abusing the SEO device. Think about it like this. So you know how when you play a new hardest or when you just play a really hard level, when you do hard timings, you get frustrated when you die to them, right? So a lot of players tend to hit the button harder during hard timing, so they get that haptic feedback of them pressing the button, you know? Now, I am playing a level where pretty much every jump is fucking hard and annoying as shit. So on almost every single click, of course I'm clicking hard, no matter how easy it is. I'm not saying that like, duh, how'd you not know? But I'm just telling you why I'm hitting the device so hard. Because, like, there's so many of these clicks that are just hard, man. And also, my desk mat is leather, so it makes it sound so much worse. Like, trust me, if I had my, like, hold on, I need to plug in my headset. It's almost dead. If I was using my, like, my normal desk mat, the clicks would be much muted. It low flirt. Yeah, well that's because remember I'm using leather. So there's like look. You heard that reverb. But if I had my normal mouse or desk mat, the clicks would be so much more muted. It's drying out right now because I had to clean it. It's the first time I've ever cleaned a mouse pad. I think it's because I really like it, you know. Most of the time when it just gets dirty, I just throw it out and buy a new one, but this one I really like, so I'm gonna keep it. It wasn't even that expensive. But I was like, you know, I'm gonna take care of it. Because I don't want to buy another one. I'm too broke to buy another one. Man, I hate 9%, dude. That jump's just impossible. Bye, Sayo. Oh man, I haven't even had another left unknown attempt since that 25% run. Mine cat, you're kicking my ass. You're kicking my balls. I'm telling you, man, the only thing separating me from a new best is Mindcap's part right now. It's not Blitzer's part. It's not Joxy's part. It's not Left Unknown. It's not Penito. It's fucking Mindcap, bro. Oh, dude. 8 straight fucking frame perfects. I'm at least getting more consistent on the staircase, but 9%, dude. It's just an anomaly for me. That jump is so awkward. I don't know if there's a better lineup that I'm not using. I don't know if the wise every end lords, you know who, can give me insight, but 9% is just bullshit. Like your cube doesn't land in time to do a lineup. You just have to fucking, I feel like it's a jump and pray for me. Why did I just not jump there? Please, just give me more attempts at Left Unknown. I want more Left Unknown attempts, dude. Put me in, coach. I want more. I want another few rounds with Left Unknown. He used to be better now, but yeah, well. I don't know who you are, by the way. Like, I genuinely. Naxo Zonata. So, bye bye. You never typed it in chat. Well, then, yeah, of course I don't know. Well, bye. You don't have to watch me. I'm okay with that. I hope you find another good GD YouTuber. I'm gonna go take a pee.
I'm back. I lied also. I didn't have to pee. I was just texting someone. I don't know why I'm so tired right now. Why even say something like that? I don't know, plus or minus. The irony of a lot of the messages I've just read is that Indra guy, he's like, "Oh, I miss Bloodbath Jade." That is the same like, you know what? I'm going to roast them real quick. They don't miss Bloodbath Jade. They missed when I didn't know they were a cheater, cuz they're a cheater. They cheated their Bloodbath completion and it was hilariously bad. Like the cheat indicator was red on their completion. Not only did they have cheat indicator on and it was red, but they posted and tried to act like it was legit. And they don't watch my streams anymore. Like they tune in, like this is probably the second time they've tuned in the last 3 months. And they're all like, I miss Jade. It's like, no, you don't miss me. You were never here. This Naxo dude is just trying to get attention. It's like, I don't want to watch him anymore. It's like, you don't watch me, dude. And if you did, why are you making a comment about it? Like, just stop watching me. I don't care if you stop watching me. You know, I want people to be on YouTube to find entertainment. And if I'm not the guy giving you entertainment, you could just unsubscribe and watch someone else. No hard feelings. But they made a big deal out of it. Like, Jade kind of fell off. It's like, did I? When was I ever up, bro? Like,
I don't know, like I like if you look at my stats, I'm actually the best that I am right now. Maybe not as a streamer, but like, I'm technically peaking right now. Technically. So it doesn't make sense to me, but like, if you just don't want to watch me, that's okay. The argument of not wanting to watch me is completely different from the whole I fell off. It's like, I don't think I did. I don't think I was ever up in the first place. And that's not to diss myself, but like, was I ever really like renowned and popular and known for my personality? Not really. I've pretty much been the same this whole time. Anyone that tries to act like I fell off, it's like, dude, I've been this negative my whole time streaming. Like, it really tells me that they weren't really there for the Bloodbath part of things, or at least they didn't acknowledge. Like, when I played Bloodbath, there were some streams where I would just say the exact same things that I say when I play every end. I suck. Why am I doing this? This is stupid. I'm so bad at the game, I have no skill. Like, nothing's changed, dude. I think what they miss is the level request streams. And it's like, oh, that's okay. That's just what you enjoy. But like, they only liked it because they got to be in it. I never liked doing them because a lot of the time it's pretty much signing up to be a teacher and not getting paid. You have to tell people, hey guys, don't put inappropriate levels, don't spam. Hey, the bot doesn't work like that. And they're like, why isn't the bot working? Oh, it just doesn't do that. Why doesn't it do that? It's like, I don't fucking know. I didn't make the bot. I pretty much like doing those streams felt like I was literally being a TA or a teacher without the pay. And it's like, it was just too much to work with. If I get more mods to help me, I'll probably do another one in the future. But like, yeah, it's clear to me that they just miss when I was more open to do geometry stuff with the community. The problem is that the community that we had in the past was terrible. A lot of the people that used to watch me were dropping slurs in my, Discord server, and I had to ban them. Like, I would argue it was worse back then than it is now. I've always had a very negative aura when it comes to me playing a level. And, I've always been petty towards the people that are just like liars or cheaters. So like, of course I'm gonna, nothing's really changed in my opinion. Other than the fact that I'm suffering on every end instead of Bloodbath. I don't know. It's very Drama Queen-esque in my opinion. Like, just don't watch me anymore, dude. I'm okay with that. I don't want you to watch me if you don't enjoy my content, Don't watch me. It's easy. There are far more entertaining, GD YouTubers out there. Why are you making a big deal out of a guy with barely 2,000? And I'd be a lot more positive if, I didn't have to moderate a lot of my community. I talk too much, I think. That's another flaw that I have. Ironically, a lot of people say I don't talk enough, but that's because they don't watch me enough. You know what I mean? Like, if you've been around enough, I talk way too much. But like, the moment I don't talk, they're like, what are you doing? Is this pre-recorded? Like, genuinely the most mind-numbingly stupid statement ever. Like, sometimes I just don't want to talk, but that's pretty much what I've become. I'm the dude that talks too much. And I honestly think I do better when I have the ability to talk, though, because as I've said before, I have aphantasia. It helps when I can clear my mind, and I can't clear my mind, without verbally speaking my mind. And that's not to blame people that don't want to chat. Obviously it's a stream. I can't say you have to be a chatter so you can help me stay sane. But, those exact same people are like, bro, you fell off. They never speak. They never leave comments. They never engage with me. So of course they're not going to like me. if they engaged more and they were honest, and kind of calling out one person here, and if they were honest about shit, then things would be different. I would argue I'm very easy to not befriend, but just to like converse with. It's just so many people decide either to not do, and then they get mad, or they expect me to do all the talking. And it's like, I hate being that guy. Now, you know what? Now I'm just completely shifting gears. This isn't even a streamer thing. I hate being the dude that has to lead the conversation, because I feel like I always do that. Now, granted, I talk a lot, so of course I probably speak the most during most conversations, but like, I know common courtesy. Like, I don't speak all the time. I'll stop and let someone else speak. Like, I know how to hold a conversation. I think I just made the mistake of talking to a lot of people. Not, again, this has nothing to do with the stream. This is like real life type shit. I made the mistake of befriending a lot of people where I'm the one that talks to them, as opposed to the other way around. Like, obviously my current friend group with my real life friends, it's completely different. I'd argue I'm definitely I'm the secondary speaker in that group. But like my college buddies, I feel like it's mostly me doing the talking, dude. And I keep telling myself sometimes, like, you gotta shut up. But then what happens is, I'm quiet, right? But then you get that awkward silence. And that's always the part that I hate the most, where it's like, I'm not saying awkward silence is bad. Honestly, awkward silence is a good sign. I think especially in a relationship, you need to learn how to tolerate that awkward silence. Once that awkward silence doesn't become an awkward silence, there's a connection. But I don't know. I just feel like with a lot of my buddies, not my current friend group, as I said, if any of my current friend group is watching, not you guys, but like, I don't know, man. I think I'm in a bit of a dilemma with how much I speak. I befriend too many people that only speak when spoken to, and I think that has just kind of hurt me in a weird way. Like, I know it sounds weird because I'm pretty sure a lot of people would love to talk to someone that would just listen to you, right? But I'm kind of the opposite. I like it when people listen to me, but I also want them to like contribute. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I like my current friend group, is that, I can make a dumbass statement, and then like we can actually hold we all have backbones. There's a lot of people that I've met that don't have a lot of backbone. And I think for people out there that are going through like a little bit of a social, dilemma, where it's like, maybe you're introverted and you don't like conversing, I think the first thing you want to develop is just a backbone for yourself. Like, don't worry about the whole, conversational cues, how to, starting a conversation. Just worry about being able to communicate what you like, For example, I like Geometry Dash. If you talk about Geometry Dash in an overly technical manner, then, people won't pick up on that. That's like a big thing with, I think, socializing that some people kind of tend to miss, where it's like, you know what? I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm just going off on like the biggest tangent ever, but I'm gonna keep talking. I think it's helping me, just regurgitating a bunch of random bullshit that's going through my mind. But like, I noticed that a lot of the people that say they struggle with like socializing or starting conversations, specifically the people that think, hey, I am starting the conversations, I am talking to people, they're just not listening. I think the key thing that I notice is that they are overly technical when they try to converse. Like, let's say we're talking about Geometry Dash, right? You don't want to dumb it down too much. It's like, oh, you just like jump over shit. Like that's too simple of an explanation to really convey why you like Geometry Dash, there's a lot more to it. But you can't be overly technical. You can't explain everything to that person, or they'll be overwhelmed with information to the point where they are just gonna sit there and be like, and that's that I hate, dude. I hate when I get to a conversation and that happens. But like, it's like very smart people that just struggle with conversing. It's like, it's because they're just so technical. Their brain is wired to know like the high level things about something, and they never like for lack of a better term, they never dumb it down. You know what I mean? Like, I think the truly intelligent people, like, there are smart people, but then the truly intelligent people know how to turn what they like or what they're smart at into something that anyone can understand or just listen to. For example, you know, I think if anyone's had physics in school, if you have a really bad physics professor, physics is just like a fucking confusing mess of math. But if you have a really, really good physics teacher, it just instantly clicks in your head. I know physics is a weird example, but I genuinely think that's the greatest example of why you need to have the skill to communicate advanced ideas or, like, you know, technical things in layman terms. And maybe, you know what, and maybe the reason I'm talking about that is because I struggle with it. I tend to try to convey everything I can about something. You know, maybe I'm a little autistic. You know, like, it's tough. It's tough. I don't know. I'm in a rough spot because a part of me doesn't even want to stream anymore. Mainly because I just feel like I have too many mood swings and I can't decide on whether I'm talking too much or too little because I get mixed signals from everyone, you know? Some people tell me, oh, you're talking too much, dude, lock in. You know, I'm not saying they're stupid for saying that. Like, it's reasonable. I am talking too much. But then, like, I stop talking and I lock in, right? Literally 30 seconds later, hello, is his mic on? Is this pre-recorded? Like, I'm just lost, dude. Like, I'm fried. I think I love streaming, you know, it's great being able to connect with some people, you know, live. But at the same time, like, I don't know what I want to do anymore, man. I'm very kind of lost. Like, a lot of my viewership right now is coming from YouTube videos, you know, making YouTube videos. I enjoy doing that too. Just like, I if you can't tell, I have a mad addiction to the level I'm playing right now. I love the gameplay of every end, and I like converting it into different, you know, styles, different looks. And like, that's doing significantly better than my streams, and it kind of makes sense. Because, and you want to know what's funny is that all of my videos that have done well are ones that I don't say a word in. So now I'm like just really lost. I'm like, a part of me is kind of almost scared to use my voice in videos. Because I feel like my voice is just not intimidating, but like, you know, it carries such a bad energy to it. I'm not self-conscious about it, but I think it's just the differentiation between, you know, my streamer self and my video self. Like, I like, obviously with my with text, it's way easier to try to convey happiness with like the little smiley face. But I have a fucking depressing voice, dude. It's like slightly raspy, it's deep, very, you know, not very YouTuber-y voice, if I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Like, if you ever watch other GD YouTubers, they have like a distinct voice, more like upgoing, whereas mine is very just kind of downsided, I feel. It has a very, I guess, not free flowy energy to it. When I go on tangents, maybe, but you know, a video is different. You know, it's not me going on tangents. A video is just me explaining things. That's why my every end hardest jumps video, I didn't do my voiceover because I just didn't want to. I don't think people want to hear me be like blah 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 blah. This jump's so hard, blah blah blah. Whereas if I use text instead, I feel like it's, you know, straight to the point. Because I'm a yapper, you know? I think, you know what? I think if I were to describe myself, I think I say a whole lot, but it's like, you know, like I speak a whole lot, but I don't say much. That sounds like an oxymoron, but essentially what I mean is, you know, a lot of words come out of my mouth, but I feel like not a lot of information is actually given. Maybe that's just something I need to work on as a person. Just like actually really look deep into my conversating skills and just understand, you know, it's time to just start limiting some words, man. Just like look at yourself and be like, you know, why am I saying the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again? I got that from my dad. My dad's a yapper, so it's definitely something passed down that I learned from him. But I think I need to learn to just, you know, slow down. I know this is the fucking weirdest thing to be talking about while I'm struggling on Mindcap's part in every end, but like, you know, when no one's here to talk, I gotta learn to, you know, talk. I think this is much healthier than if I just sat here silently. I don't know if any of you agree, or if any of you are even here listening to me. You know, I don't care. But like, it's just because what I'm doing here is the equivalent of you telling yourself in your head to stop being, you know, stop having negative thoughts. I just have to do it verbally because I'm I'm a freak. I'll call myself that. I'm a freak. I'm a freak of nature, but not in the good way. That's what probably, you know what? I hate locking in Geometry Dash. I'm gonna say that. Locking in Geometry Dash hurts. It hurts my eyes. Cause like when I lock in, I don't blink as much. And it's like, that's probably why my fucking eyes or my vision's gonna get destroyed when I turn 30. Cause I'm just like constantly like looking out for all these fucking jumps, bro. Damn it. But I don't know, man. I feel like I'm starting to lose my motivation to stream. And it's not because of, you know, the people that were just being like, oh, I don't watch you anymore, you fell off. But I just think, you know, I don't know if I'm built to be one. I think there are too many problems that I need to address within myself that I need to, you know, address before I really feel like I'm ready to stream. I don't think I set a good example as a GD player. I have many flaws with how I think about things, you know. I'm obviously, you know, a very inconsistent GD player. I have very negative thoughts, you know, I get very negative quickly. I tend to be, I wouldn't say explosive, but, you know, quick to react. There's a lot of things that I think I should really work on. And I think, you know, part of me wants to maybe pause streaming or just stop altogether. Ew. And I know some people do care about my every end, you know, streams. You know, they want to see me make progress. But at the same time, it's like, what should I value more? And I feel like for me, I value my own sanity and my own personal health over the quote unquote money I make from YouTube. I don't make a lot on YouTube. I make like an average of a fucking 50 cents a day. Like that is my income right now. in my streams, they barely make anything. But, you know, I'm obviously not sitting here crying saying, guys, please super chat me $20 every stream so I can live. You know, I want to earn it. But I think, you know, the reason I'm not earning is, you know, validated by the fact that I just don't have a good energy. And I think, you know, it's been a problem that I've just never addressed ever since I started, you know. Even in my Celeste streams from like almost 2 years ago. Like, none of you guys have seen my old Celeste streams, definitely. But my old Celeste streams definitely still carry the same energy I do have now. Where I'm just, you know, I don't know when to shut up, and I also don't know when to start talking. You know, I think I'm just lost. There's only so much my tiny little brain can handle, and I think it's starting to, you know, tell me it's too much, man. Because, you know, I don't think I'm a good example setter. And, you know, I try my best to, like, you guys can even see and hear my mood swings every single stream, where it's like, you know, generally at the start I laugh more, I'm, you know, more positive about things, but then there's always this just one thing that just ruins my mood. And it's not because, you know, it could even be from like a longtime member that just said like a funny joke, but for some reason it's just my mood drastically switches. Maybe I'm a little bipolar, but I don't think that's what it is. I just think I have a tendency, like, because if I was bipolar, it's not a one-way thing, you know. You drastically switch up your emotions, right? It's not anger. Maybe it's an anger management problem. But, like, I don't feel like I'm explosively angry. I just get, like, you know, frustrated. And I think that is an emotion that really weighs on me. Maybe I need to deal with frustration a bit better. Because I've dealt with that, like, it's not anxiety. I'm, like, when I get anxious, I can handle that pretty well. But, like, I think frustration is just, for some reason, an overbearing emotion that I cannot overcome. When I'm mad at myself, like, I need an entire day to decompress about myself. When I'm, like, you know, frustrated at something anyone says, whether it's about me or anyone else, it's like, it's just hard to shake it off. It's a me problem, though. I'm not blaming the people that make me frustrated. I mean, obviously they made me frustrated in the first place, so that's what they're getting the blame for. But, you know, the reason I stay frustrated is all on me, honestly. Like, I think the stream yesterday was a perfect example. You know, my girlfriend made this, admittedly pretty kind of disgusting joke, you know, not really funny, but, you know, she was trying to be sarcastic. Text doesn't convey sarcasm well at all, obviously, so it didn't look like that. And it's like, I got really frustrated at it because it's like, you shouldn't say that in a public setting, you know, that's not nice. And, you know, like, I just got really frustrated and I ended stream. Like, I just fucking ended stream immediately the moment I got frustrated. It's like, I think that just shows how bad I am at dealing with just being frustrated. Like, I can be angry. I feel like I can handle anger easier, but not frustration for some reason. I think it's just as a complicated emotion, dude. Like, frustration is like, I don't understand frustration. Maybe that's because I'm just not emotionally intelligent, but like, I feel like frustration is a weird combination of anger and sadness. It's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to feel when I'm frustrated. When I'm frustrated, it's like, I feel like almost depressed, but then like, I also feel angry and I also feel sad, but I also don't feel those, you know, because frustration isn't just those simple emotions. It's a more complex one. You know, it could just be that I'm not emotionally intelligent, you know, I'll admit that. But it's just a very awkward, like, what am I supposed to do? How do I handle that? I can handle anxiety. I think anxiety is a complex emotion, but like I've dealt with it. You know, it took me years to, but I've dealt with my ability to handle my anxieties. But like, I don't know why after 20 years of my life, for some reason, frustration, emotion that pretty much everyone feels at least once a day, I'd even say, is just such a powerful emotion for my brain. Like it like, I feel like it's so powerful that crying from like sadness is less impactful than how frustrated I fucking get at myself, at others, you know? I don't know if it's anger management, like, you see what I mean? It's just so complicated for me. Maybe I'm stupid and you guys are sitting here being like, how the hell are you struggling with this? And, you know, I'm okay with getting backlash from my, you know, emotional ineptitude. But like, I don't know how people do it. I don't know how, like, you guys can just ease off frustration so easily, because it's just not easy for me to do, man. When I'm really pissy, I'm pissy, bro. I'm a moody little baby, you know. Maybe that's emotional immaturity. Maybe I'm a little immature. There's a lot of things that could go into it, I think. Also, thanks for the subscription. I know I'm literally just doing like a fucking podcast while trying to play every end. I don't know, though. I think I said it before and I'll say it again. This is just a really good way for me to forget that I am doing really bad right now. I'm not doing great today. I think I started off really strong, though, but I think today overall has been a pretty meh day in terms of every end. But, you know, the thing that's been holding me back is obviously, you know, Mindcap's part. You know, my skill is a little lower than the normal player. But I just need to stop being so mad at myself sometimes. I think I'm an overachiever. Like, every single stream I get on every end, it's like, I expect a new best. I expect like a crazy run. I expect, you know, millions of viewers. You know, I'm waiting for that one stream where everyone, you know, just, I get rated and then I have 10,000 viewers, but like, I just need to be grounded sometimes, you know. I'm not that. I'm not all that, you know. I'm not him. That stupid ass meme. I'm not him sometimes. But, you know, I could choose to constantly strive to be like, you know, that, or I could just strive to be better. You know, there's two ways, there's two sides of the coin. You could either look down on yourself for not being good enough, or you can push yourself to be good enough. And I feel like I'm really stuck on which side I'm on, because some days I'm like, dude, I'm making so much progress, you know, I'm almost there. And then the next day it's like, I sound like the most depressing loser ever, where it's like, you know, oh my God, I can't get 10%. And it's like, yeah, no shit, you're playing a top 10 level, jumping from a top 700 level. Like, I think my brain is just terrible at like picking a side on that. Like, am I confident? Am I overly confident? Or am I, you know, not confident in myself? I feel like I'm dealing with both of those at the same time. I feel like I'm confident. I feel like I can get my new best every day. But at the same time, I feel like there's nothing I can do. You know, I feel like I'm like, I feel like I'm doing too much and too little at the same time. My brain is just so fucking weird, dude. I've talked to a therapist about this, by the way, if any of you guys are gonna bring up therapy, and they gave me a lot of very good advice that I've been doing myself. But like, I still think I just struggle with that, man. I just want to be like, for GD terms, just to make it easier, it's like, I want to be like Zoink. I want to be like W Popoff, but sometimes I just need to understand I'm not going to be like them, you know? And it's not because, but like, the way you have to think about it isn't I'm never gonna be as good as them. It's just that I'm never gonna be them. You know, I won't be Popoff. I won't be, you know, Zoink. I just have to be Jade. And, you know, maybe Jade's a significantly worse. Well, Jade is a significantly worse player than them. But, you know, Jade needs to get better. Jade needs to improve, you know. And like, I'm saying all this as if I understand, right? But it doesn't. It doesn't click in my brain. Because I can tell you guys, it's way easier to say things than to do them, you know. Everyone's heard that, you know, term. Everyone's heard that, you know, quote. Where it's like saying and doing are very different things. And my problem is that I have fucking aphantasia, so I can't internalize my thoughts. So when I say things, I'm also thinking them. Like, it's a confusing mess for me. I don't get myself sometimes. Because, you know, I speak my mind, but, like, also I'm told that whatever's spoken is no different from what you're thinking. Like, it gets... I don't know. Maybe I just need to, like, stop playing video games for 1 month and just, like, fucking meditate, dude. Like, literally join, like, a fucking club, become, like, a Shaolin monk. Do that for, like, 6 months. Shave my head, you know. I'm not trying to, like... Honestly, I'd probably like to do that, you know. I'm very interested in that. I like meditating. But maybe that's what I need to do, man. I need to, like, I need to go on a literal, like, fucking corny-ass movie, you know, arc. Where I just need to, like, figure myself out, man. Because I think I'm just constantly surrounded by thoughts of, you know, you have to do it or you're not good enough. That, like, I need to find the groundage that I need, you know. Am I confident? Am I overly confident, or am I not confident enough? Because, again, I feel like I'm both of them at the same time right now. It's really, I'm very awky, dude. Maybe that's why a lot of people don't like talking to me. Because I'm just weird. So bad when I can't relate because I don't get mad at all. You're lucky. Well, actually, you're not. I wouldn't say you're lucky. I think anger is a pretty important emotion. I think anger is portrayed as an entirely negative emotion. But I honestly, you know what? Hot take. I completely disagree. I think anger is an extremely healthy emotion. It's a way for you to convey, like, extreme disagreements and disdain towards something. I'm not saying you're unhealthy for not being angry, by the way. But, like, you know, I'm just going on another tangent here now that you mentioned that. It's like, I don't think anger is a bad thing. I think when I'm frustrated, I know it's not a bad thing to be frustrated. But, like, what the fuck am I supposed to do, man? Like, I feel bad for all the people that I'm friends with, because when I'm frustrated, I just shut down. Like, so, like I either shut down. Well, actually, that's what I do. I just stop talking. Like, you guys have probably seen it, or like some of my longer time viewers may know what I'm talking about. Like, some of my old streams, I just stopped talking for like an entire fucking hour and kept playing. And it's like, you know, I wasn't locked in. I was just seething, like, angry at myself in frustration, because I mean, maybe that's just more proof that I need that I don't know how to handle frustration, because I literally just shut down. If you keep that mindset, dog, you sure won't physically be them, but you could be your own icon. Yeah, exactly. Like, I get what you mean by that. And I don't mean that in my previous sentiment. I didn't mean I will never be good enough to be them. I meant that as I should stop comparing myself to them and instead be the best I should be. You know, don't be Zoink, you know, I want to be Jade. I want to be the best I can be, you know, as opposed to I have to be like insert inspiration here, you know. You can sure try to, like, there's nothing wrong with, you know, having an inspiration, but you also need to, you know, be your own thing. If everyone could just be what they wanted, then, you know, You know, I think if I just became Zoink, then that's not original, you know, and that's just, frankly, you know, no one can just do that. You know, Zoink got himself, like, how do you think Zoink felt? He got himself up there. I know it's kind of weird to talk about them, you know, but, you know, we're in the GD community, so of course I'm going to talk about them. Sure, you know, it's like, it's literal fucking, like, I'm using the Instagram meme, dude. It's like, I'll never be him, but I don't want to take that in a negative light. I just take that as, you know, you got to be yourself. If everyone was him, then everyone would be the same, you know. I agree, anger is not a bad emotion necessarily, you just need it sometimes. It's like sadness, you know. I hate the whole you should never cry like argument. Like, you should. I know crying is like, you know, something a lot of people don't want to do, and that's okay, you know. There are some places where you don't want to cry in front of like 1,000 people, but I find it disgusting that some people are trained to think that crying is a bad thing to do. It's like, it's not. It is your body's way of like actually letting that emotion out. Crying is a way is literally your body telling you, is literally your body like exerting an extreme emotion because of buildup, you know. I've cried a few times before. I don't like to cry in front of people, but, you know, I don't think crying's bad. And, you know, sadness, you know the movie Inside Out? It's weird to call that movie, but I think that is a very good example. By the way, not the second one, the first one. It's a good example that, like, even the emotions that we see as bad, you know, like fear and sadness, are good things. They, you know, they protect us. It's just some emotions protect us in ways that aren't as easy to notice. You know, fear is pretty easy to understand. You know, fear is protecting you from something. Your brain perceives something as dangerous, so fear kicks in. You know, it's protecting you. Sadness, on the other hand, is like, what the hell is that protecting me from? You know, you know, if you build up, if you're only happy and you mask that emotion, then you're gonna break down. You know, I hate to sound negative here, but sometimes you just gotta be sad. And that's okay. Okay, now that we're on the topic of Inside Out, I hate how that second movie treats anxiety. I think they did a pretty solid job of like portraying anxiety, like with the anxiety attack and all that other stuff. But like the whole idea of, you know, like, I don't like the idea of you need to suppress anxiety. I think, to me, with anxiety, you just need to live with it. You're going to be anxious sometimes, you know. If you completely shut down during anxiety, you ignore it, that's a really bad thing. Because I think anxiety is just as important as the emotion of sadness, you know. But in that movie, they like, obviously when anxiety ran rampant, you know, she was very anxious, and they did a solid job of portraying that. But I think towards the ending of the movie, I didn't like how they kind of just treated it. I don't know. I'm very mixed on it. There's a lot of Pixar movies where it's like, you know, I think they did a great job, but at the same time, it's like there's a lot of the inner things that I just disagree with. It's just me as a person, probably. I think for me, like, I think a lot of people are too scared to, I don't want to say man up, but like they're too scared to face anxiety. What they do is they take, you know, some people, when it's extreme, they need medication, and that's okay. I'm not referring to those people. I'm referring to people like me who have like strong moments of strong anxiety where you get really anxious. And I think I used to hide from that. You know, when I got anxious, I would like break down. You know, I couldn't face it. I couldn't face the things that made me anxious, you know. Going on stage and making a speech, that made me anxious as shit, bro. Who here still gets anxious from it? I still get anxious from it. But if you teach yourself to just constantly, you know, wither at the feeling of anxiety, that's a bad thing. You're letting anxiety take control of you. Whereas like what I've slowly learned, and by the way, it didn't take a day for me to just be like, wait, anxiety's not bad, I'm just gonna ignore it. It took me years of dealing with anxiety to learn how to like handle it. Like, for my best way of dealing with it is that, you know, when you're anxious, it's, you know, it's, don't ignore it. It's a valid emotion. Personally, I feel like a little more than a regular person, but I don't feel like I'm anxious often. Yeah, anxiety is an emotion. Anxiety disorder just means you have like very strong anxiety, obviously. But, you know, it's just an emotion. You know, some people are more happy than others. They feel happiness more often than others, and I think some people also just feel anxiety more often than others. I don't know, it makes me sad seeing that there are some people out there that like, they get anxiety. It sucks. I hate anxiety, you know? The pins and needles. Who, like, I don't know if anyone here has felt the pins and needles, but like, it sucks, dude. It's like you're just standing there and you're like, cheeks, it feels like something's poking at your cheek, like a million fucking things are poking at them, you know? Your feet kind of start to sweat. Like, you get really anxious. It's just, you hate it, don't you? But you can't hide from it. I think I've told my therapist about it, and she told me that like a million times. It's like, you can't just hide from these things anymore. You have to address them. And that's kind of why I was talking about the whole, why can't I deal with frustration? I can't just hide that anymore, you know? That's why I'm saying it now on stream like a weirdo. I'm talking to like just a bunch of strangers about my issues of dealing with frustrations and emotions. But like, I think it's about time that I address it instead of just, you know, constantly letting frustration almost ruin some of my relationships. Like, I feel so bad for my girlfriend yesterday. I know she made a mistake, by the way, you know, with her whole like unintentional message of, you know, whatever. But I think my frustration definitely boiled over in a very unhealthy way. So like, I feel bad, and, you know, we talked it out, obviously. Like, me and my girlfriend, we talked it out. I apologized, she apologized, you know, healthy shit. But I still feel like instead of, you know, just being like, well, that's just valid frustration, it was probably valid frustration, but at the same time, it reached a point that I don't think it should have. I should have just been like, you can't do that, hon. You know, babe, you can't do that. That's not a nice thing to say, you know, blah, 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 blah. And then 1 hour later, we're all good, you know? But my frustration definitely boiled over where I ended stream and I said, you can't fucking do that. You ruined my mood. And it's like, I look back on that clip, like the stream's privated, by the way, because it's just embarrassing. But I look back on it and it's like, dude, that is just sad. Like, I literally told someone that is like, I've been with for the past 9 months that you ruined my mood just because she tried to make a joke that didn't convey sarcasm well. Like, isn't that crazy? Like, I'm willing to admit that just because, you know, I'm not one person that wants to shy away from the mistakes I've made. Because, you know, if you don't learn from your mistakes, you don't grow. And for me, like, talking about my mistakes, I think helps me develop a bit more because I understand like what the fuck I did wrong. And there it's like, my frustration is valid, right? You know, she may have said something that was just not good to say in a public setting. But at the same time, it's like, did I really need to lash out like that? No. Like, that is, I'm happy that we managed to talk it out because some people probably couldn't talk it out. You know, that was very rude of me. I definitely was being a bit of an ass there. And it's just so weird, dude. I don't know why frustration is such a complicated thing for me because I get so many other emotions. I know how to deal with so many other emotions. Like, when I'm angry, I know how to deal with that. When I'm sad, I know how to deal with that. But like, this weird in-between fucking frustration, like, is that even really an emotion? It just seems like a sub-emotion to anger. It's just like, you know, you're not exactly angry, but you're starting to get there. And I don't know why that is just such a fucking, that scrambles my brain. Why it turns me into just like an absolute asshole of a person. And, you know, anytime someone makes like a dumb comment in my, you know, Twitch or YouTube chat, I just immediately get frustrated. You know what? I'll admit it. I'm fucking easily rage baitable. I think that's what it is as well. Like, whenever anyone says something stupid, I always feel the urge to note that what they said is stupid. And I think that just highlights that that's a kind of really, really bad habit I have. And it sucks, dude. I hate it. But it's not gonna take a, you know, day to get used to it. Maybe I should stop streaming. Or at least stop streaming Geometry Dash and more focus on just making videos. I think making videos is a very good way of me to still do what I like to do, but just without the pressure of, you know, managing the emotions that I don't think I manage well. You know, I think it's healthy for the people that watch me so they don't have to deal with my little episodes of frustration. And instead, you know, they could just enjoy some of my content or not, you know, if they don't enjoy it. I'm not going to stop playing every end. I'm going to still play it off, you know, stream. And look, I'm saying all this, right? But I guarantee, like, let's say I'm making a post where it's like, hey guys, I'm going to stop streaming. You know, I feel like my emotions aren't good right now. In like 1 week, I'm going to start streaming again. I just don't think I'm disciplined enough to do that. And especially because I'm trying to grow as a channel. You know what? I'll admit it. I feel like I am under so much pressure to grow as a YouTube channel that I'm forcing myself to do things that I shouldn't do. You know what I mean? Like, I keep forcing myself to stream. I'm forcing myself to make these videos just to like try to get more viewership. Am I saying I'm not enjoying that? No, I enjoy making videos. I enjoy streaming for the most part, but I'm forcing myself to sometimes. And I think that's a bad thing to do as like a content creator, you know? Because then what happens is your love for the content that you make starts to die. And that's what happened to me like 3 months ago when I first quit, quote unquote, Geometry Dash. I stopped playing, you know, and I said, I'm not coming back. You know, 3 months later, I obviously came back, but like, that's just the shit that I deal with, where it's like, I want to grow as a YouTuber. I would love to do content creation for a living. But here's where the overconfidence and underconfidence like issue comes in. I definitely think I can get big enough to where I can start earning a solid amount on YouTube, but the underconfidence is, that's a long way to go. I'm not even close to making enough to that would even be considered like minimum wage. I'm making 50 cents a day, bro. That is not an income. But here's like, you know, again, the overconfidence, underconfidence. I'm confident I can get that to grow, but it's going to take a while. And I'm dealing with college, you know, I've got like a time limit that I'm dealing with. I think I'm just under a lot of stress, and I don't like talking about it because there's so many people out there that are doing college and they're running like a YouTube channel with millions of subscribers. Like, there are so many people out there that could just get through it, you know? They get their degree and they also run a YouTube channel at the same time. And it's like, I'm running a tiny ass YouTube channel and I'm struggling. Like, I don't know how those people do it, man. And they're definitely not lazy, you know? They make higher quality content than I do. And they pump out, you know, just as much videos and streams as I do. It's like, I admire them because it's amazing what they can do. And I'm not doing this to like compare myself to them, like, oh, I have to be like them. It's just another case of like, why can't I do that, man? Why can't I just manage doing school and all this shit at the same time? But there are people out there that are doing significantly more than me and, you know, doing it to a higher degree. Like, they're getting a master's degree while, you know, running a fucking speedrunning YouTube channel. Like, those people are amazing. I'm not trying to, you know, say anything about them other than they're just amazing. It's incredible that people can do that. Shout out to like the Bones 5 if anyone watches FNAF content. Like that dude is doing school and fucking live streaming him doing like the hardest FNAF challenges, bro. Like I know that's such a random like, you know, shout out, but like I admire them, dude. Like I want to be like them, but a part of me doesn't think I can, you know. I want like I can try as hard as I want, but you know, I think I'm just lacking that spark, I think. I'm motivated. I want to do it. You know, who doesn't want to be, you know, a popular YouTuber? A lot of us do. I guarantee there's some people here that post their own YouTube content that watch me. But, you know, it's just so hard to be like, you know, be like that. And I don't want you guys to like, you know, show empathy. I'm not trying to be like, oh my God, guys, you see, I'm such a busy dude. I'm in college and I'm doing YouTube. Like, don't empathize with me. I think I'm just telling you guys what I'm doing. There are like, I should be able to deal with it. It's just, I can't, you know. Maybe one day it'll click with me. Maybe I'm just missing that. There's like a missing piece that maybe I'll find it soon. Or, you know, maybe I'll find it fucking 20 years down the line. Who knows? Oh my God, dude, I fucking suck at this game. Wait! I have it in 3 runs now! I have every end in 3 runs! Wait, I just that I have it in 3 runs now! What? I think the actual distance of that run just kicked into my head. What the fuck? That's so random, dude. That was such a depressing rant that I was going on, and I just... Oh, 68 though, really? Oh my God, dude, that is... What the fuck? I'm sorry, I'm like speechless. That just came out of nowhere. That's also my longest run in every end. That's a 39% run. Holy shit, that just fucking... Wow. I was gonna end stream soon, but holy shit, that's a great way to send off stream. Well, you guys can expect to see that video soon, every end in 3 parts. Dude, that is so... I needed that, man. You guys can't tell, but there are tears in my eyes right now. I fucking needed that. I've been doing so bad at this level lately. That was exactly what I fucking needed, dude. Like... The reality of that run set in way after I had died. Like I was, you see what I mean though? Like my frustration went first. Like, oh my God, I died at 68. And then the other emotions kicked in. Like, oh my God, dude, that's just, dude, that's fucking insane. I can't believe I just hit that, dude. I have the opportunity to be a great player, damn. Everyone does. I'm just hoping I can, you know, I want to be the best player I can be. And I think every end is definitely the thing I want to tackle. I don't know what I'm going to do after every end. I'm going to be honest. If I'll even overcome every end, man. This is a hard fucking level. You're still on 9 circles? That doesn't mean you're bad. That doesn't mean you're bad at all. You're on 9 circles? Dude, you're beating a hard demon. Like, you're not, that doesn't make you bad at the game. I fucking struggled at 9 circles big time. Like, look at you, you're playing a hard demon. Sure, you know, there are people out there playing levels that are literally fucking impossible, but like, that's how I feel when I still feel the same when I look at people who do that. Like, literally 8 months ago, my hardest was Dance Massacre. I know exactly how you feel, man, where it's like you look up and you're like, oh, look, it's just Zoink. He just beat, you know, fucking Orbit in like 20,000 attempts. And I'm at, you know, 90 billion attempts on 9 circles. Like, I've been there, bro. Not even too long ago. I don't like, I think the best advice I can give you is don't ever downplay yourself beating 9 circles. This community is extremely toxic. They're gonna tell you, oh bro, your hardest is only 9 circles. It's like, brother, it's a hard demon. You got a hard demon under your belt, that means you're a good player, regardless of what the GD community thinks. I think if you beat any of the main, if you beat any demon level, you've earned my respect, obviously. I mean, you've earned my respect if you just play the fucking game, because you're playing the game. Yeah, look at you though. 2 months ago, your hardest was Stereo Madness. It took me 10 years to beat my first hard demon, brother. Like, you're doing great. It took me 10 whole years to beat my first hard demon. And like, obviously, I've been doing fucking exponential growth. Like, I went from a hard demon to my first insane to my first extreme to now every end in the span of like 8 months. Like, you're doing great, dude. Don't let the GD community downplay you playing 9 circles. Like, just keep going at it. Beat it. Don't worry about your attempts. Don't worry about how long it takes you. Just beat it. Because what matters at the end of the day? Whether it says 100% or not. Not how many attempts it took you. You beat the Nightmare Before Cycles. That's so cool. That's also, yeah, that's pretty cool. It took me so long to beat my first, dude. I'm so embarrassed by how long it took me to fucking play this game. I'm a 10-year, like, I've played this game for fucking 10 years and like it took me so long to actually realize, wait a minute, I'm actually kind of good at this game. I don't get why my brain did that though. Like I feel like for 9 years my brain was just in limbo. Yes, reference. It was just straight up in limbo. It's like, I don't know how to play this game, you know? And then just one day, 8 months ago, it's like, wait a minute, let's just be good at it. And then I was, for just some reason. Now I'm struggling on every end. You know, look at where that got me. Maybe I am mentally deranged. I did decide to play every end. But it's such a fun level. Such a fun level. You beat an easy demon in under 80 attempts? Holy shit, man. It takes me like a 100 or 200 to beat one still. The fucking skill creep in this game is insane, bro. Oh man. Platinum Adventure, my second demon, is pretty free. I like Platinum Adventure. I think it is perfectly in line with the Lightning Road and the Nightmare, where it's like, it's not quite, it's like, it's free to most people, but it's still like an easy demon-ish difficulty, you know? Very easy demon. But it's like, you know, I think it's valid. I like Platinum Adventure. I think my first demon was the Lightning Road, the Nightmare, Demon Mixed. Then it was Deadlocked, Toe 2, Club Step, and then I don't really know what happened from there. I think I beat Invisible Club Step right after Club Step though, because Invisible Club Step is low key just Club Step but a little easier. Shiver, Platinum Adventure, Deadlocked, B, Sakupen Egg, Verity, and now 9. That's a pretty good progression. I'll give you that. All right. I think, unfortunately, I'm going to call stream here. I think my eyes are getting tired. This level is so tiring for the eyes. I might do another stream later where I build a level. You'll see the stream if it's up. But right now, I think I'm going to rest my eyes. I'm going to lay down in bed, you know, cry and eat some ice cream. Just kidding. I'm just going to eat some ice cream. And I'm going to make that every end in 3 parts video because, oh my God, dude, I don't want to get emotional on stream. But dude, that is a insane accomplishment for me, dude. Like, I cannot believe I did that. That was just so random, dude. I can't believe I did that. I needed that run. All right. Anyways, bye everyone. Good luck with your new artists.